Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 560. The lesson today is the difference between familiar to and familiar with. Okay, somebody wants a screenshot, do it right now. Let's get right to it. So familiar with means to know thoroughly, or to have a good knowledge of something, or especially having experience. So your involvement with it is deeper. You have a deeper understanding with it. You probably had experiencing doing it or involvement with it, so you are familiar with it. Okay. Familiar to is more like well known to, or you could recognize it, you could identify it. So you recognize it in the sense you identify, you say who it is or what it is. Okay. So let's take a look at some examples here where you could try to see how we would use, more likely to use one than another, or situation where you could use both, but they may have slightly different meanings and feelings to them. So here's the first one. Again, with the X, this would be wrong. You don't say, I am not familiar to his work. Yeah, that's really awkward. You would say, I am not familiar with his work. So I haven't like read about it or looked at it or thought deeply about it. You know, and that way you're not familiar with his work. You don't have any real experience of trying to get a deeper understanding of his work. I'm not familiar with his work. All right, the next one here. The man in that photo is not familiar with me. Now, that's a little weird. In this case, what the speaker means is the man in that photo is not familiar to me. So it means you don't identify him, you don't know him. Like if the policeman was asking you, do you know this person? You would say, the man in that photo is not familiar to me. I don't recognize him, or I don't identify him. If you say somebody is familiar with you, it would mean they know you on a deeper sense. So that's not what they mean here. Let's continue. This place is so familiar with me, it must be deja vu. Now, so of course with the X that's wrong. You should say, this place is so familiar to me, it must be deja vu. So if it's you feel like you recognize it, you know it, then you say that it is familiar to you, not with you in this sort of sense. Okay, good. And here's the last one where you could kind of see how both would be, slightly different. I never heard of this brand, probably this company. It is not familiar to me. So in the first one, you might say it, even though it sounds almost a little awkward, but you might hear a native person say this means that I don't identify it, never heard of it. I don't know the name at all, never heard of it, can't recognize it. But it could say, you could say, I never heard of this brand, I am not familiar with it. If you say you're not familiar with it, I mean, it is even possible you heard of it, but you never tried it, you never tested it, you never bought any products from this brand, so you're not familiar with it. So again, you would be more involved with it, you'd have more experience with it. That's what you mean, you're not familiar with it. So in that sense, you don't know. So here you could almost say both, but they mean different things. So familiar to would be able to you just know it, you heard of it, you recognize it. Familiar with is you know it on a deeper level, you experience it, you can feel it, you're involved with it. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it was clear. I hope it was very informative. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.